Welcome, folks, to the Ask Domnat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, which just happens to be the fastest 30 minutes of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominic Pereira, but you might know me as Ask Domnat. And it is Friday. Thank God it is Friday. I needed this Friday. Actually, I don't know if I needed a more Friday than it is today. All right. I am tired, folks. Got a lot going on. And I appreciate you guys being with me through all this a lot. So let's go over today's show is just gonna be you and I. We're gonna be chill. We're gonna talk about what we got to talk about, and let's get into the rundown. So today, we got April 10th rundown. And on today's show, we're going to just break down day 41 update of the war in case you want to know. We'll keep it light. We'll keep it brief because it's an absolute mess. And like I said, I'm tired, folks. This is an absolute mess. I got an update at the farm. So we're going to give you that. And then probably the most important part for me, exciting part, is a little Clear Social app update. Clear Social. So let's man, maybe I should have shared my screen with the Clear Social one, Aaron. Like go through the scroll a little bit, show people what they're looking at, maybe cue that up. But okay, so April 10th rundown. So let's go to the US-Iran war. It's a mess, guys. We're gonna try to keep it timely today. Guys, okay, so here's what's happening. Without me bringing out all the headlines and all the articles, what's happening is we remember the tweet. I don't even know the last time I talked to y'all. The text, the tweet. It's a whole civilization will die today. It's I don't want it to happen, but it probably will. You have this unhinged person, unhinged tweet. And this isn't just me saying this at this point. It's people that are supportive Donald Trump. It's people that don't support. It's like if this was something that your Iran was saying to United States, Israel, or any other ally, we tell you, see, that's why they got to go. You see that type of context. You can't say that. And in the middle of negotiations. So that was the tweet. And then it's like, well, they have until 8 p.m. tonight. And we're going to blow up bridges, power infrastructure, civil. Like we did this here. We did it. If you start blowing up civilian infrastructure, that's considered a war crime. Whatever you want to agree, whether it is or it's not, it's considered a war crime through the Geneva Convention. Now, who wrote these laws? Who wrote all of this? It's the United States. Let him. So, it can't really argue with it. Now, what has happened since? Well, just a couple hours before that ceasefire or before that annihilation happened. Welcome. Where are you guys coming in from? Let me know. Drop your at signs, whatever they're called, addies. So and maybe we should start doing giveaways. We got so many cool stuff. We got so much cool stuff because I'm obviously in technology and I'm in farming and like to travel. So I just get my hands an opportunity to get my hands on cool stuff. So what giveaways should we start doing? Really get everybody in here in the mornings. But so we had a ceasefire. All right. There seems to be an Iranian 15-point plan and a Trump 10-point plan. No, I'm sorry, wrong. There was an Iranian 10-point plan and a Trump 15-point plan. You let me know who you think is telling the truth on how many points there were. But basically, within hours of that peace ceasefire, it seems like Pakistan negotiated. If you look at the tweets from Pakistan, they say congrats on the peace, on the ceasefire, including Lebanon, XYZ, right? Like, because remember the theater of war, you have Iran, you have Lebanon, and then you have the Houthis in Yemen. It only makes sense that there's a ceasefire everywhere, not just a ceasefire here or there. Because I don't care who you support. I'm so tired. Like, I'm trying to be diplomatic, folks, but I'm tired of hearing these guys excuse some of this behavior. They're like, oh, well, no, we had a peace. we had a ceasefire, but it wasn't including Lebanon. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, people. That's like saying, oh, we had a ceasefire, but that's not including Israel. Or it's not including Saudi Arabia. No, the only reason we're there, the only reason United States is attacking Iran is because Iran is attacking our allies. So why in the world would they not say, hey, you can't attack our allies either? This is moronic. And I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, right? Not even give the benefit of the doubt. Bom dia, pai. Como estás? I'm just trying to. I don't even want to listen to some of these idiots anymore. They're just dumb. I'm like, because here's why. Within hours of the ceasefire going through, I was surprised that that 15 or that 10 point whatever plan they were talking about, it was very favorable to Iran. But you know, whatever gets the deal closed. Because the reality is, Iran is a middle income country. They were doing fine. However rich Iran is doesn't change my life at all. The Strait of Hormuz, if Iran collects tolls, doesn't matter to me. Like, these people are going to make their money, or it's going to go to the billionaire oligarchs here in the country or everywhere else, right? Or the Saudi crown family. It doesn't matter. They're talking about all these people, all these old people at the top of all different colors and shades. None of them really black, though, but different colors and shades of whites. But all these old people at the top, man, I mean, is Arabic. It's not like Arabian. It's a color, Persian, whatever you want to call them. But at the end of the day, we had a ceasefire. Thank God. So we could talk about something else for a second. And then here comes Israel again. The most deadly bombing in Lebanon within hours. I was surprised when that ceasefire didn't talk about Israel. You know, they said we support the president's decision, right? President of the United States. So they didn't say they agreed with it. They just said they support it. So when after they said we support it, they sent over like 115, 120, whatever the number is. It's different bombs to Lebanon within like 10 minutes, killing hundreds of civilians, blowing up, and everything's a military target. You don't think that they didn't want the ceasefire to last? They're like, okay, no, you know what? We really know how to throw this nonsense out the window. We're just going to bombard and bomb everything. We're going to just kill everything. Bom dia, Alberto. Como estás, Beto? Onde estás? Que hora é aí? Mas, look, I was going to start speaking Portuguese. Maybe we just start doing the show in Portuguese. Maybe a message will go further. But so Israel, here it is, trying to dismantle all sorts of peace negotiations, which I just don't know what Israel has on so many politicians and supporters. I just don't get it. Because how can everybody, like, why is it so much support for everything that they do? We can be critical of the United States. We can be critical of Europe. We can be critical of Iran, but you can't be critical of Israel? And I know, now, like, it's the proxy for the U.S. in the Middle East. But you have that's Mr. Fireball throwing that in there. Okay, it's a proxy for the U.S. in the for us, I guess it says for the U.S., but for us in the Middle East, to maintain the petrodollar agreement and attempt to maintain control. Mr. Fireball spitting facts. Spitting balls of fire. Good God Almighty. Absolutely. And I'm tired of it. Because, look, you got to look at, bring up my map, Aaron. Hold on. I bring up my map. Sorry. Google Maps, people. Google Maps. You know who the largest arms dealer in the world is? It's the United States. United States sells 43% of all the world's weapons. 43%. So the weapons that you're getting shot at by and the weapons that you're shooting down are probably all coming from the United States. And I can't even say this stuff. They don't want me to say this stuff. But I want you guys to know this. But but I gotta challenge Mr. Fireball here a little bit because I do agree with 99% of what he's saying, maybe even 100%. But this one right here is a proxy for us in the Middle East, right? Now, okay, great. And then we got to think about what the Middle East is. It's, because just a little fun fact, the Middle East is because this was all British Empire, the British Maritime Empire, and this was the United Kingdom and Britain over here. This it extended to out here. Remember, they had control of India and East Asia. The difference was in the middle. This is the Middle East. So this was the Western, front at first. Now we're the Western front. This was Eastern Kingdom of Britain, down here in Mumbai. I don't know. Sorry if I offended anybody. Not really. I'm not really sorry. It's kind of just like, it's Mumbai. And then this is the Middle East. But here's where I'm disagreeing with you a little bit. All of these are proxies, right? Like, obviously, we know the freaking weird relationship we have with Israel. It's kind of fanatical at this point, right? All right, so they're here, but we arm the Soviets bought Egypt bought weapons from the Soviet Union, so that's one. But the biggest arms dealer or the biggest buyer of U.S. artillery is Saudi Arabia. So now we got a proxy in Saudi Arabia too, right? And then we have a proxy with that. We buy more oil and everything from that, and they invest more in the United States than anywhere else in the world. So Saudi Arabia is our proxy. Kuwait, remember we went in there, we took over freaking Kuwait, the oil fields, helping them from Iraq. Oh yeah, they're our proxy. Qatar and Bahrain, we have military bases in Qatar, we have military bases in Bahrain. United Arab Emirates, we have military bases there. Oman, military. So all of these are our proxies. It's ridiculous. Like, how many proxies do we need? Syria, freaking Obama went into Syria, did some nonsense there. I can't even speak to it too eloquently, but we got, messed up Syria quite a bit. Iraq, we all know that. Like, if there's no country in Afghanistan, we already know we had a war in Iraq and a war in Afghanistan. For those who can't fully appreciate it, right? For those who can't appreciate it, when I was thinking about the Iraq-Afghanistan war, it felt like, their neighbors are like, Iraq is here, Afghanistan here. I didn't really even care, like, on the distance or the geography. I thought maybe they were close, but like, Iraq is here. Afghanistan is like a long ways away. Kabul is the capital. Like, United States has either armed or bombed every country in the Middle East. As many as it takes seems to be yeah. Turkmenistan just is like trying to sit quiet up here. They're like, oh crap. Hopefully the United States doesn't realize that we're here. But let Turkmenistan find some oil or natural liquefied gas, and all of a sudden they're going to be getting hit with a little democracy. But every country in the Middle East has either been armed, also Iran, Lebanon, Russia, China, they all want the opposite of the United States geopolitically. Well, yes. However, here's the problem with that. Put that back up for me. Here's the problem with that. Let's start with China, who I think is really learning a lot of lessons. China's the big winner here, because China is arming Iran. I wouldn't be surprised if China geopolitically looks at, well, look, and you mentioned the petrodollar, we will do all of our business now out with the Chinese yuan. Like, it's only 3% or 4% of the global monetary supply. The United States dollar is over 50, like 3%. So it's the dollar, the petrodollar is crazy. Now, for the people who don't know, just so that you guys are in this conversation, the United States petrodollar, what does that mean? That means anytime you buy oil or energy in the world, no matter if India is buying from Saudi Arabia in 1980, Saudi Arabia made an interesting deal with the United States to have ExxonMobil helped them, establish their oil. Whatever country that does business with them, and then Kuwait, Oman, Yemen, all of these countries, Bahrain followed. They have to do business in dollars. So India, or Pakistan, or whatever, buying oil from Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, whatever, they have to do that business in dollars, even though the United States isn't involved. Why does that benefit? Why is that called a petrodollar? Because obviously they're buying a petroleum byproduct. But what does that benefit? Um, well, now if you're India, then you have to go to the United States Reserve or bank, whatever, and buy dollars. They have to, and then you buy those dollars. United States could always loan more dollars. That's why we can carry so much debt. And then when you buy those dollars, now you spend it with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has all these dollars. Now the dollar is the most valued commodity, or currency. So, and then they invest all of those dollars, a lot of them, in AI startups. All these countries, no matter where you are in the world, are probably using, for the most part, dollars. I say that to say China is a world power, probably the second world power, and closing in quick. They have not fought a war since 1948. That China has not dropped bombs throughout the entire Middle East for the better part of 60 years. They figured out a way of diplomacy. And still, now, granted, do I think China is oppressive, communist, and blah blah blah? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Like that, it's, I don't know, but as being the world reserve currency, export inflation to the rest of the world, absolutely. Like, I mean, we don't realize, unless you go to like some other countries and you just see, that's why your dollar buys so much more outside of the pound, the euro, but even then the dollar is more valuable, even though, like, if you're into forex, you're gonna most forexes are against the US dollar. When I say forex, it's foreign exchange. You're trading against the dollar. There is the Japanese yen or something is also very popular, but people are just looking for stable capital to trade against. But the United States is really pegged, and I'm making a prediction here that the United States Israeli relationship is going to end in the next 10 years, if that. And I don't have to be that cowardice to say 10 years. I'm saying 4 years, because here's what's going to happen. This war has really made a big hiccup for Donald Trump. Now, he still has 3 years left. If he can get out of here, I'm going to go to Drop Site News. You guys want to know where does the guy with the news get his news from? I get it from a couple places, Drop Site being one of them. I don't like, and this is a news site for me, but I do get it from from a lot of places, honestly. And then the other one that I listened to, oh Jesus, how did I forget this one? Because if I just go to my Spotify, I'll tell you, because they're really good. Breaking Points is a great one too. But drop site news. You're looking at just some of the headline: U.S. Iran ceasefire, Lebanon. We already talked about that. Israeli blatantly violating, exactly. So what's going to happen in the United States? Donald Trump is going to try to figure out a way out of this, and he's going to get so unpopular. 61% or 63% of people in this country believe that Israel is not good for this country and is an aggressor in the Middle East. That's a big swing. So now, and then you just got to remember, I don't know who the PR people are for Israel. Who's the marketing team for Israel? Who was the marketing? Because I know they're going to label, like, just talking like this. They were like, anti-Semite. Because there's 9 million Israelis or in Israel, whatever, 9 million. And not all of them are even this fanatical, right? Like, so I don't know, like maybe 8 million of them are like really gun ho on this war, even though they did get like a 90 something percent buy-in on the war. But obviously they're also there. They're getting fed their news. They're getting fed like, yo, it's an existential crisis for them, whatever. but and I think there's like 14 million, um, 14 million mm, Jewish people worldwide. I don't know, but what's the population of California? California, 39 million people. 39 million people. Let's find a smaller state, guys. What? Give me a state. I'm trying to get a state with population by state. I'm just gonna go by state. Population by state. I want to find a state that has close to 9 million freaking people. Okay, we're here. New Jersey. And you know what? That's so funny because yeah, I knew that. Because Israel is actually about the geographical size of New Jersey. It's not the Jews, it's the Zionists. It's not the Jews, it's the Zionists. Yeah, this gets into muddy waters because at the end of the day, look, my producer's laughing because he's like, they're about to cut our feed pretty soon. I'll tell you who it is. I'll tell you who it is. But at the end of the day, here's with all of the great PR marketing that these 9 million freaking like I said, there's 9 million Israelis do. The state of New Jersey. Imagine the state of New Jersey causing so much freaking confusion in the world. Imagine the state of New Jersey dictating the wars that the United States goes into, right? Like dictating to the president. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, or whatever. Every president has to go to New Jersey and kiss their wall. Every president has to go to New Jersey and whatever. I'm like, what the heck is New Jersey doing? What do they got that the other 49 states haven't figured out? Here's where that's maybe going to be the quote of the freaking, that's going to be the theme of this decade. It's not the Jews, it's the Zionists. Here's the problem. You're a very well-read and educated person. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. The problem is that most people that just tune in, they're living their lives, don't know the difference. And I don't think the problem with how Israel is operating, and we covered this in one of our earlier episodes, is that they're trying to, for the purposes, for their own conservation, they're always trying to mix Zionism with Judaism for their own conservation. They're saying you can't be Jewish without being Zionist. But because remember, the new CEO of TikTok was like, hey, if you call somebody a Zionist, we're going to flag you and we're going to take you off the platform on our new rules. Unless you're calling them a Zionist in a good way. Because we are Zionists, but not if you mean it in a bad way. So I think the average person is really confused on what the difference is. What is Judaism respective to Zionism? I mean, we know what Judaism is from just like, your own spiritual and religious beliefs on the Torah and the whatever. That's okay. But here's the other counter position, which is the difficult part of being Jewish right now. I think being Jewish, a well-grounded Jewish person here in America is having a harder time because you have a lot of Jewish people that don't support genocide, that don't support this, like, I don't know, that are condemning it. They are condemning it, but they're like, hey, but I genuinely believe in my Jewish faith. I don't believe what's going on over there. And they don't have a great way. There's no great messaging of separating them right now. Right. And it's almost like when you look in history, there hasn't been an apartheid or a civil rights movement that has not included support of people that seemingly look like the oppressors, meaning abolitionists during slavery. There was obviously black abolitionists, but there were white abolitionists. So it's like, how do I, and now when history looks back, we can talk about the Confederate, the Yankees, and the blah blah blah. But when it's happening, everything is so muddy that if you're a black person, you're running, you're ducking, you're like, I don't know, that looked like a white man. I mean, I'm gonna just stay here. And that guy's like, no, brother, I'm a good guy. I'm one of the good guys. But I don't believe what they believe. And that's like, do you, right? Like, so that's the hard part. That if you are a good guy, you just have to be so much louder now to be like, well, no, I condemn what they're doing and blah blah blah. Is not necessarily an easy place to be. Let me share just one other thing. Here's this post. I have not read this, folks. I have not read this at all. I just read the first part of it, and I don't know that I'm going to read everything. I just saw a long Truth Social post, and I'm like, this has to be. I don't want to use the word unhinged, but I was just like, oh God, there's no good reason to send something that long. And I don't know what time it was. I gotta see. But the reason I'm saying even in the next 5 years, right, is because here's what I believe is going to happen. These um primary elections and the midterm elections are going to tell a lot, because what people are going to want to just start knowing is, hey, what's your position on this and this, right? Forget everything else. Don't talk to me about whatever, like global warming, or don't talk to me about I saw the craziest thing too. Canada has more, if you're familiar with LGBTQ, what was the original letters? Was it just LGBT? I feel like that even that seems long, but they put more letters, and I'm gonna show you guys. It's so funny. Um, because I learned them, because I like, even though I can be critical, but I am a learner. Um, but don't worry about it. But here's the thing, about this post. All of these people are Trump supporters. They were all about now I will say, like, maybe they were all, I don't know if they were supporting of the Israel per se, but they were 99% behind Trump. Now it's like, oh God, they like, all of these guys, they call for the 25th Amendment, except for Tucker Carlson, really, but everybody else call for the 25th Amendment, which is basically, if you get 2/3 vote in Congress, 2/3 vote in the Senate, you can essentially remove the sitting president. That wasn't going to happen. Those guys are freaking, all these guys are just freaking career politicians. But what does Trump say? I know why Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones have all been fighting me for years. Empirically false, because they were all like some of his biggest supporters, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, who didn't mention here. But they just been really fighting over this Iran-Israel thing, especially by the fact that they think it is wonderful for Iran, the number one state sponsor of terror, to have a nuclear weapon, because they have one thing in common: low IQs. They're stupid people. They know it. Their families know it, and everyone else knows it too. Look at their past. Look at their record. They don't have what it takes, and they never did. So now I'm like, whoa, I'm critical of all politicians here, but I'm like, I'm going to just skip to this part. I might agree with 47. These guys must be stupid. Must be. Because they supported this. He's saying, look at their record. They supported me. They supported me. Look what they're low IQ. While everybody was telling them not to do it, they did it. Low IQ. Their family know it. Their friends know it. But it's just so, I don't even want to read this anymore. But okay, got it. But and this is pretty, obviously they're very successful. I'm trying to get into their world, and with the 15 or 20 of y'all on here, we're getting close. But they're obviously smart. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. I actually liked their like unbiased reporting. I like when they really dive in. Alex Jones, I respect how emphatic he can be with, I don't want to call it a conspiracy, but like his line of thinking, right? Like from just a media standpoint. So InfoWars got sued, went bankrupt. So definitely things he could do better there. But a lot of intentionality on how Megan Kelly left and broadcast media. So not stupid people. I'll give you that. But they did support him for a long time. Says they don't have what it takes, and they never did. They've all been thrown off television, lost their shows, and aren't even invited on TV because nobody cares about them. They're nut jobs, troublemakers, and will say anything necessary for some free and cheap publicity. Now they think they can get some clicks because they have third rate podcasts, but nobody talking about them, and nobody's talking about them. And their views are the opposite of MAGA, or I wouldn't have won the presidential election in a landslide. MAGA agrees with me and just gave CNN a 100% approval rating of Trump. Not hand flailing fools like Tucker Carlson, who couldn't even finish college. He was a broken man when he got fired from Fox, and he's never been the same. Perhaps he should have seen. Should Oh, is this the end of the? Well, that's not even the end of the. Perhaps he should have. Perhaps he should see a good psychiatrist or Megan Kelly, who nastily asked me the famous only Rosie O'Donnell question, or crazy Candace Owens, who accuses the highly respected First Lady of France of being a man when she is not, and will hopefully win lots of money. That's an ongoing lawsuit. I can't read the rest of this block, and I don't really feel like signing up. Oh no, shoot, there's more. Okay, I don't feel like reading the rest of this. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Okay. You guys tell me what you think. By the way, if you forgot, there's a war going on. There's a war going on. Yeah. Mr. President, we have the leaders of the free world, or we have the leaders of the enemies negotiating. Stupid Candace Owens. No, she's not a man. Give me 1 second. Okay, Mr. President, the bombs are dropping. Okay, Tucker Carlson. What did Tucker say about me? Okay, Mr. President, we have even bigger news. What is it? Ask Domnets. Stupid ass Domnet. Failing show 8 in the morning. He doesn't even start at 8. He doesn't. I'm waiting for that, guys. There's a war going on. Gas prices are high. Everything is broken. If you are under 40 and you're not a millionaire, sorry, we have to try again later. Gary, like, what do you do? There is, guys, I don't want this to be the show that I go completely unhinged, but I am pissed off. Pissed off. I'm upset. What do we do? Everything is high. There's the jobs, like, there's so many pressures out there. You gotta have a good job. Now every good job is laying people off. Now you gotta have a good house. You can't afford. They need you to get some places. You need 3 times your income. Now, granted, okay. Sorry, I'll be real with y'all. Real caveat. I rent apartments to people, so naturally, sometimes I do ask them for 3 times their income. So I don't want to pretend like I'm not somewhat part of the system, right? Like, I am very much part of the capitalistic system. I've benefited in some ways, but I recognize I don't make the system. I'm such a small player. And if it was up to me, I would not do it this way. I've just gotten burnt so many times. And the reason it's so dumb is, why do we ask for 3 times your income? Because I want to get you in your house fast. If you have your security deposit from the last place you got, that's already one. Right? Like, or meaning if you want, and it's really not that crazy, right? I'll say this. If you live in like somewhere that you could get $1,200 rent, they're just saying, hey, can you make $3,600 a month, right? Now, but places are being so expensive. The difference between me is I keep my places market value or below. So we keep it very low. But everything is so high. Insurance is high. And I have these freaking auto payments, people. Everything's a freaking subscription. Everything. Auto payment for this, auto payment for that. I want to start an app. Put this down, Aaron. I was thinking about this. This is one of my greatest freaking ideas. I want to start an app to like a credit card company, right? Like there's all these other credit card companies like Bill or whatever. All these credit card companies. I have so many freaking credit cards. I don't know if I have one around here. But they have all these reward programs and points. I don't care about the programs. I don't care about the points. I just want this card to send me a freaking text before it charges any freaking auto payments. And then I just have to say yes or no. Remember this free freaking trial that you signed up for, but now you can't remember the freaking password? Do you still want to pay $12.55 a month? No, please. Somebody give me a break. There's so many charges everywhere. That's how I'm feeling. And then we got this unhinged nonsense. But the positive news is, let's just go into what we have built. Like if you want to see how I'm feeling, hey guys, welcome in everybody who's coming in. Tell me what you guys thought. How should we be doing the show? You guys, a lot of people from X, from Twitter. How's Elon doing, by the way? I haven't heard from him recently. You guys anybody check in on him recently over there at Twitter? How's X treating y'all? Is X a better place than it was recently, or no? And it's XAI. Like, are you guys using XAI? I use Grok, quite a bit. Is that worth it for y'all? Then you got some YouTube guys. How's YouTube? I'm seeing y'all. This is a cool little thing. Yeah, YouTube. Where who's watching over from YouTube? Welcome. But all right, cool. But you know what? Actually, this might be a good segue to the next segment. Here, we're trying to get into that world. The social media space. So 4 months ago, like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I started a social media site called Clear Social. Clear Social. If you want to see, oh no, that's the wrong one. That's not Clear Social. Clear Social was a project that I made because you see how passionate I am about this. I was passionate about social media too, and I was just so frustrated at the algorithm. I was frustrated. This is Clear Social right now. Let's take out the bottom thirds there. It's picking up traction. So I got we got a lot of people posting. We got a couple of hundred daily active users, have several thousand downloads and posts, and like people chattering and all this and that. Like people are really in there. That's my guy Aaron. He's posting. So it's supposed to be a completely clear and transparent algorithm. So shout out to everybody who's on Clear Social. We picked up a lot of traction, and then we fumbled. We fumbled big. Why? Because the servers couldn't handle the traffic. The servers couldn't handle all of the everything that was coming in. So ultimately, what ended up happening was the crash. It was slowing. It wasn't good. So people that came on were like, man, this app kind of sucks. And I was like, oh God, we kind of got a little bit ahead of our skis there. But recently we figured out a way to resolve all of that. We could have done it faster. We could have done it sooner, but we just have so much going on that maybe this is part of, me just being vulnerable with you guys. Success is not linear. It's not just like, oh, I'm doing this. And if I do this a lot or very well, if I just dedicate to this, I'm going to succeed. What I find the difficult part is I'm doing this, but I also have this, and this going on, right? Like you got life that happens. I was building Clear Social, and we're posting, but now we're also building as Domnat. I'm building Clear Social under my technology company. Guess what? That company has employees. I have payroll. So we need to keep projects going on for clients. I have work, boom, boom, boom. I have my real estate kind of arm of just my business. And sometimes I downplay it. I will say sometimes, like, I don't even like to call it. It's certainly not an enterprise or anything. But we have a lot of moving parts. We just have, and then dummy me, I added another big part of it, which is the farm, right? Like, so now I'm like, I got the farm. Then we have Nemu. So we have so many moving parts. It's probably To my detriment, I will say I could have done better if I just focused in on one thing. But that's what life is, learning lessons. But when that one thing isn't necessarily working out, you don't know. You're like, oh yeah, shoot, let me just try this really quick. Um, well, it's when the downtime. It's like when you're waiting for stuff to happen, and Clear Social was like that. We were waiting for stuff, so other things took the time that I was investing in it. But if you are not already, go check out Clear Social. My at name there is Ask Domnat. And check out Aaron Estrada on there too. He's part of the team, the development team. Um, we're going to make a push. So now the app has a lot of bugs that we're going to be fixing. I think maybe what we'll do is maybe every week we'll just tell you the bugs that we fixed. But the point of this segment, more importantly than the bugs that we fixed, I want to know what you guys want to see get built. Like, what do you guys want in your next social media, if anything, right? Like, here's a problem that I'm trying to solve. Social media is frustrating. It's inherently like a waste of time. I don't. Nobody is proud to be on social media, right? Like, if somebody tells you, like, oh, what do you love to do? Like, what do you like? Let's say you're talking to a girl or a guy, whatever, whoever's watching. Let's say you're talking to a significant other, somebody that you're interested, and they're like, "Yeah, I love to go to the gym." No, oh, that seems positive. That seems like a healthy activity. Or I love to go to the library or the bookstores. I spend about 5 hours a day at the library, bookstore, reading books. You're like, oh wow, that's good. That's a productive activity. We don't know what that person really does at the library. Because you got some weirdos at the library. If you want to see some of the weirdest people in society, go to the library. They're there. And that's funny because I've seen them there and I'm like, whoa, a lot of weirdos here. But then I'm there a lot. So I'm like, am I part of the weirdo crew? Maybe. But 'cause it's a free spot. Sometimes, people just chill out. But a lot of homeless. It depends on the city that you go to. Philadelphia Library had a lot of homeless. DC libraries are very nice. But nonetheless, Clear Social is the social media that we're trying to make not like the library, but how do you make it positive? How do you make like, oh, okay. Oh, you spent a little bit of time. We don't want to spend all day on Clear Social, not at all. But how do we take out all this like what's it called slop from social media? How do we take away all the like we gotta go viral? Oh my gosh, I'm looking at some of these posts. Aaron, put it back on. All the people on Clear Social, I support you. I love y'all. It's so much. It's so interesting because I own the platform, so I can see like what people are trying to do. Like, leave it there, right? Like, this is what most of these posts are. These are like young people. Just let it play. I don't even know what this is. The oh, I think you were just I get what you're doing. But but a lot of these posts are just like uh random stuff. And then everybody's like, hey guys, I'm trying to go viral. I'm just trying to go viral. And I'm like, why? Why don't you try to become successful? Nobody on here says I'm trying to be. There is a couple people, but like I'm trying to be successful. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to like and success in whatever what thing that you want to do, right? Like it doesn't have to be money by any means. If you can break away from the money paradigm in this country, you'll be 10 times happier. Mr. Fireball 619 has figured out a way, and I think he's on that journey. He's transcended. He's transcending. Nelson definitely, but like getting into the money trap. I'm telling you, and I've been a part of the problem, guys. I don't want to be a part of that problem. I've been a part of the problem from the standpoint that like I'm like let me make more money. I've never been attracted to money. I've been attracted to success. I've been attracted to doing stuff. If I was attracted to money, I'd have a lot more right now because I do not I don't have an affinity for money. I tell you I don't. People don't believe me when I say I don't really care about money. Now I'm married, so I have to have a baseline of stability. But every dollar that I get, I'm just like, what can I do with this? What can I build with this? What's the point? Like, most people, there's only a couple people, couple tiers of life. There's the people that are always struggling and they never really get a chance to turnover financially. And then there's the middle upper class that have on average like 300. They work all their lives to save like $1 million, right? And then they have their retirement savings of $1 million, blah blah blah. And then most people die with their money in their bank account. I have no desire to work this hard to save money in a bank account to die and leave it there and for it to get taxed. It's dumb to me. No, we're going to make money wherever we can, spend it and utilize it. And I think this is what I love about going to the next segment, farming. Farming, I hate it because it costs so much money. Okay, we're going to go into a quick little. Here's what I did this weekend. My machines are breaking and my animals are dying. But I'm trying to keep us
me joy.
No.
If you want to see what brings me joy, just round bales and trucks, open plains, and the farm, tractors. That's what brings me joy. And I love pushing my truck to the limit. We're throwing 5 round bales up there. Realistically, she's so low, but I could have put another one in here. I love testing her, and she's good. She's good.
That brings me more joy than money. That just like being outside, doing stuff, working with your hands, like being solving problems. That brings me joy. Now, guys, if you're in the New Jersey area, I'm going to be at Teca Farms this weekend. We're going to be working, so don't come out to bother me. But if you want to come out, feel free to come out, hang out. We're going to be there. I'm having, so here's a couple frustrations that I've had recently. 2 of my little pigs died. I know, believe me. I don't know why. Oh, one of them just was malnourished. He wasn't eating. I don't know why. He probably wasn't feeling well. But the thing with dealing with livestock that I'm trying to get a grip on is the veterinary visits are so expensive that when they're young, right? Like if you buy a pig or livestock, whatever it is, if you buy it for $80, $90, and the vet visit costs $200, you're like, it's got, we're going to have to figure it out ourselves because we can't do this for everybody. We can't whatever. But now when you're herd, it makes sense when you bring out a vet for your herd and just a general welfare check and all this and that, because you're spreading that cost amongst a lot of people or a lot of animals. But one of them, unfortunately, got stuck in the freaking fence, and I don't know, he got shocked and then was dazed and he wasn't feeling, I don't know what was going on, but they were the 2 smallest ones, so maybe they were getting bullied. I have to figure out a little bit better. So that happened. It's freaking tick season. So now I got to buy some. I'm trying to buy some guinea fowl or guinea hens to eat the ticks. But buying the guinea hen, right, they're about $15 each. All right, I'll buy 20 of them to eat as many ticks as possible. What is that? $300. All right. But now I need an electric mesh netting fence. Need about 3 of them. The large 164-foot ones are about $150 each. That I could, on the cheap side, if I could buy it on Facebook Marketplace. So you're looking at another $450, and then just the time and logistics to do all of that and the gas money. I'm like, believe it or not, when you come out there and you see 20 dumb looking birds just running around, it looks like just 20 birds. To me, that was an $800 project. Like that, people don't look at it like that or think about it like that. And then that's not including the feed. And that's $800 just to reduce in an organic way the tick problem. And then shout out to my sister-in-law, Naj, who put me on, this was last year, tea tree oil, and something else that it's an organic way. Now, here's what the problem with that is we have a large property, so we need a lot of tea tree oil. But here's what the industry wants you to do. The industry just wants me to go and buy freaking large contaminants to just spray everywhere, right? 1,000 gallons of this, 2,000 gallons of that to just spray on everything, start killing everything. And that's just all right. That might be the easier thing. It might be the cheaper thing, but that's not what I would ideally like to do. So, but I can see how farmers get trapped in this box with they go in with good intentions, they're idyllic in a way, and then these things just keep beating them up. Um, and we our plans that we had this weekend to clean up some stuff. Well, now my skid steer is not working. I'm like, Jesus Christ, every piece of machinery that I've had at this farm has had an issue. Every single one. There is not one piece of machinery that I have not had an issue with. It's crazy. So it is what it is. I was, just thinking about it, but it's like, well, if I wasn't, let's say I wasn't doing this, I would just keep my money in the bank, I guess, right? But then what? I would look at it every once in a while. Can't eat it. Can't really like whatever. All right. Can't share. Well, you could share it with people, but and then it's like, oh well, what are you gonna do with it? If I give it to you, what are you gonna do with it? And then the nature of our society is we're not really good at just giving money. We're like, well, I need you to give it to me back, right? Like so. Um, it's so for me, I like having a farm because I can share it with people. I enjoy the vision. I enjoy the goal. I enjoy the learning lessons. And I think and I hope that after all is said and done, we're going to have a positive outlook, right? Like, because nobody really, when times are tough, you're not like, oh man, I'm going to really look forward to looking back at these times. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Times are very tough, but I do think that with the right planning, preparation, perseverance, and just the fortitude, I'm going to enjoy looking back and say, "Oh man, I remember when we went through that. We are going to have different time, different tough time, different challenges, but I'm glad that I went through that and learned what I did." So I appreciate you guys being with me. I appreciate all the support. And if you are out in the New Jersey area, I will be seeing you this weekend. But if not, then I'll see you here at the Ask Domnat show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern, which is the fastest 30 today, 52 minutes and 24 seconds of your day to make you an overall more informed person. My name is Dominique Pereira, but you might know me as Ask Domnat.